Well, what are your overall thoughts on the game then, Micky?
Well, in the game up until we gave away a soft first goal, and I mean a really soft goal when we weren't really being troubled. We were doing well up to then, and things that we'd spoke about were working. Maybe not enough imagination at times when we did win it back. For whatever reason, I don't know, because we believe we've got imaginative players on the pitch. But then after that, the body language was looked too disappointed and not angry enough to try and find a way back in before half time. Then we come into the second half and the game kind of like fizzled out, but then we have an opportunity with a couple of little half opportunities. The ball comes off the goalkeeper and I was wondering, where are we? Where are we? Should have reacted better at that moment. But we allowed the game just to sort of fizzle through our fingers without winning enough individual battles in order to try and get up the pitch or get in behind them or get bodies up the pitch. Didn't do enough. Tried to change personnel, didn't quite get his attitude. We tried to change the shape. We kind of huffed and puffed a wee bit, but all in all we weren't good enough over the course of the 90 minutes without being dominated or pulled apart at any time. I think we just massively contributed to allowing Leyton Orient to kind of let the game fizzle out and kind of, I'm not going to say waste time, just be professional like they were and let things sort of drift away, and we sort of allowed it to drift away. We never showed enough quality when we did get it back to make it to get that equaliser and make it more of a sort of contest, and the game just fizzled away and before we knew it we gave away a really poor second goal, making poor decisions coming out of areas when you weren't going to affect the ball and allowing people to get in behind you. And at 2-0 down, we didn't have enough people really to spark us into trying to get something back into it again. So no, not a good enough performance.
When games drift, as you mentioned there, is it just a physical thing, or is it that mental approach as well, as that's what's lacking?
It's definitely not physical, because we have had a good week and we have made sure that we looked after the physical side of them recovering. We came down yesterday with a nice hotel, so it's not physical, but we can't look for any excuses with that. Everything was spot on in terms of that. We just didn't have enough grit at vital times to try and find something or some way into the game to cause them enough trouble. We didn't win enough individual battles all over the pitch. When the moments came, we didn't get in top enough. We certainly didn't in kind of wide areas or in the midfield where we even had an extra man do enough to try and dominate that area. And then up front we didn't do enough either. So it wasn't good enough. We didn't play well enough.
Not something we point out normally when you're playing at home, but on the travels, there's a common theme here, isn't there, sort of in the way it's working, and what's the answer? I mean, is there an answer to that?
Yeah, you've got to be more gritty, you've got to be more determined, and when the moments come, you've got to get most of all the things right. The only thing that we got wrong in the first half was their goal, really. That was probably about it. That probably it definitely, well, a goal did separate two teams, but it was one moment, if you like, that we just didn't get quite right. I couldn't believe when it went in from where it went in from. It was a poor goal to give away, and we come in half time and we're frustrated because we're thinking we're well in this here. We're well in this and we're in decent control of what's going on, and then we give away a cheap goal, and then we speak at half time and we say, look, let's make more of an impact going forward in the busy area, in the areas up there, run about their back four. And we didn't have enough people who could do that today, or did that today, or had the know-how on the day to maybe go and achieve that. So no, we just allowed the game to fizzle out and didn't make enough impact or didn't play enough tempo in order to try and do something.
A couple of little flashes, but that's not enough in the 90 minutes, is it? You've got to make more than that. When
the wee moments come, like it comes off the goalkeeper, it's got to be us. And that just comes from the basics of being a striker or being an attacking midfield player, being alive in the box and expecting the keeper to spill it, always expect, always be optimistic, always anticipate things, but now we get caught on our heels, and if we get that opportunity, then it changes everything. And then the beliefs just sort of went out the group, and then the game just kind of fizzled out.
Saw your big defender from Southampton come on today, Darnell. I mean, obviously not an ideal situation for him to come on, but he's a big lad and he's obviously got a big reputation. Yeah,
it's difficult for him to come on in this. That's why we didn't start with him, because we only met him yesterday. Well, I never even met him yesterday. I was at a funeral yesterday, but so we hadn't really even met him. He's just driven up, so it wouldn't have been fair to fling him in because he doesn't really know us. I wanted him to have a look at us today, and then when needs must, we just thought, look, we'll go with a 3 and try and get players up the pitch, try and get players higher up the pitch and try and get at them down sides and things. But it didn't quite work out like that because we didn't have enough players that go on the ball and allowed us to do that. That was probably from our point of view, the story of the whole game.
Paul Glatzel's arrived as well. How far away has Pal been involved?
Well, Paul's fit. He's now match fit, so he's able to go and play now. Maybe that puts a wee bit of pressure on people now, and maybe they start fighting a wee bit harder for the place in the team. Maybe that too many of them maybe believe that they're going to play again the next game. Maybe we need to hope to put a wee bit more pressure on people so that they show a lot more grit in order to try and stay in the team. I don't have the power at the minute really to, this is not me trying to get myself I think, but I don't really have the power at the minute to put enough of them under pressure to say, if you don't deliver and you don't fight and you don't go win your individual battles, you'll sit beside me. Maybe too many at the minute believe that they're just going to play the next game because I don't have enough pressure to put on them, but that's something I'll need to deal with and find another way of driving some kind of performance out of some of them.
And young Reece Hughes came on as well. You know, again, little flashes from him. You can sort of see what ability he might have. You know,
yeah.
he could put pressure on people perhaps as well.
Well, I hope so. He deserved to come on because we weren't doing enough. So we tried to get some more at him. The same with young Jake. He deserved to come on because we weren't getting enough up front. So Jake deserved to come on and him to have a charge about and try and put some people under pressure and say, hey, look, I'm here, play me. So that's what we're trying to do across the team, and maybe we're lacking a wee bit because maybe too many just believe that they're just going to play the next game. But I need to find a way of making them fear more for the places, and maybe I don't have that opportunity to do that with the amount of injuries that we have at the minute. But we'll need to find that way, that's for sure.
And is that the answer to improve results on your travels? Is that the key really to moving things forward?
The answer is just as a group of players turning up here and fighting, and when your moments come, being good at them. That's the answer. Football will never change. Now, we knew exactly what was going to happen, we knew what the jobs are going to be, and in the 1v1 moments with and without the ball, you have to go and perform. And we just didn't have enough that performed enough or long enough in the game to cause enough to win us a game of football. That's the answer. You've got to go there and you've got to go and perform. We at the minute don't really know what we're going to get from the last game to this game. It's difficult to sort of think. But after very early in the game, I looked at a few moments and I thought, oh, here we go. And I could have probably made a few changes because I didn't think it was going to change much with some of them, because they weren't being gritty enough, winning the 1v1 battles or making enough impact in the game at the moments. I could have made changes really early because I'd seen it before. The signs had been there before, and that's the answer. You've got to be gritty, you've got to be determined, and you've got to make sure that you impact the game with the qualities that you have. That's the answer, nothing else. You've got to go out there and make sure that you do that.